Well, hello, hello, hello. So glad to have you joining On the Porch with Dr. Jacqui. And yeah, life is better on the porch. That's exactly right. Life is better on the porch. And so I'm so glad that you are tuning in on today for On the Porch with Dr. Jacqui. Welcome. And this is a place where we share wisdom, where wisdom flows and hearts are strengthened and we embrace the journey together. So I like to say this is really more than just a conversation. See, on the porch is where people connect while crossing transformational thresholds. And we're living in a culture, if you think about it, we're living in a culture that's really craving the power of community. And the front porch has always been that space, not just a place, but really actually a posture, if you would, a posture that stories are shared, a posture in which wisdom is passed from generation to generation, person to person. Wisdom is passed down and passed up, and but also a space in which there's just real connection that happens. And so we believe that life is better on the porch. So as you step onto the welcome mat, I'm so glad to have you here, and I want to say welcome. And before we dive in, I want you to drop in the chat what city you are joining us from. Okay, in the chat, if you would drop what city you are joining us from. Now, if you are joining us and this is a replay for you, and you were not able to see us live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, I ask that you put hashtag replay in the chat. Okay. And then for those of you who recognize sharing and liking is real nice, go on and share and like, and then get ready to engage because we have a special guest who's joining us, and you don't want to miss this. But also, you want some other people. As we start talking tonight, you're going to realize, yeah, you need to share this information. So, who is the special guest? I'm so glad you asked. Mr. Tom Walker. He is the founder of the Dignity of Work Foundation. After 33 years leading global operations and lead manufacturing at DuPont, Tom turned his attention to something deeply personal, and that's helping people in recovery from addiction, helping people who have been incarcerated, finding and keeping meaningful work. That's key. Finding and helping them to find meaningful work. Well, he started by volunteering at Caritas. Caritas works in Richmond, Virginia, where he saw the potential in every graduate that came through. And many of them he saw had strong resumes, but they faced real life barriers. Lack of a driver's license, not having the transportation necessary or the tools necessary in order to thrive, not just survive. Tom knew that he could help. Yeah, he recognized that was his calling. He felt a call to do something great, to do something big, to make a difference. So in 2021, the Dignity of Work Foundation was born to remove those obstacles and to remove those barriers and to offer second chances that had real, authentic support. So today, Tom continues to lead with compassion. He continues to lead with purpose. And he believes that everyone deserves the dignity of work. Wow. So are you ready? You ready to have this conversation? Go on and share with some of your friends, some of your family. Let them know that we're getting ready to talk about the dignity of work with Mr. Tom Walker. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Dr. Jacqui. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm amazing. It's awesome being on this podcast with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your followers about something that's really passionate for me and really gives me joy every day.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are excited to have you here. And Tom, I want to, you know, when I first heard the title, the name, I should say, not the title, but the name, the dignity of work, that by itself is so powerful. So I know that you're doing some powerful things, but if you would take us back to the beginning, what really kind of stirred your heart to begin this foundation?
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Jackie. I guess it started back around 2017. I was working with Caritas, the Works program, and that's something after people have graduated from the substance use disorder recovery program. Works helps them get prepared to get a job. It teaches them office skills. It teaches them teamwork. It teaches them conflict management, leadership skills, and so forth. And so, part of that curriculum, that 6 weeks of curriculum, is how to write a resume that gets you a job, and then how to interview properly. And so I got involved with them, helping people first write resumes and practice their resume, then also helping them do the interviews. And so we would give them feedback, listen, ask them questions, and so forth. And after I'd done this for a year or so, they do this several times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. I started recognizing, hey, these folks have great resumes. They have decades of good work experience, craft. They work with their hands. Some of them professionals, run businesses, and I started thinking to myself, if I were an employer, I would hire them. I would love to hire this person and that person and that person, especially knowing that they had been through at least a 6 month residential recovery program and they were clean and sober at least that long. And they really had made a dedicated effort to stay that way. And so now they just needed some help. And, I started understanding more what the challenges were. People coming out of incarceration, there's societal bias, there's legal bias that works against them. Again, like you were saying in the intro, they didn't, many of them, most of them don't have their driver's license anymore. They don't have transportation. It's been repossessed. It's been taken away. And so it kept doing this. And I just felt God talking to me. I felt God talking to my heart saying, what are you going to do about it? And so over time, over months, this idea percolated in my head. And I thought, well, it looks like what they need is money. They need money to purchase the services that they need to overcome the obstacles. So they need money to get their license back. They need money to buy a car. They need money for training, for certifications. So that's why I started the foundation, in order to provide that financial assistance.
That is so good. That is so good. And you touch on so many things that um, I guess that's in my heart as well. After almost 27 years of working inside of prisons and working and actually being the director of a substance abuse therapeutic community where persons had the opportunity to learn skills and experience how to live life on life terms. And so, yes, that a key piece is those returning citizens needing some additional support and some additional direction and guidance, and that makes the difference. That really makes the difference. Now, many of the people that you serve are coming out of some incredibly hard situations. Okay, um, talk a little bit about that. How does your team walk alongside them? Sometimes we do need a little extra nudge or a little accountability. So, how does your team walk alongside them as they try to start over again or start fresh or new?
Well, the first thing we do, they make an application, and they're usually referred by somebody like from Caritas Works or the Chesterfield Jail program. 90% of our people come from either Caritas or the Chesterfield County Jail. And so somebody has referenced them or referred them to us. They fill out an application. We do an intake interview. And then the intake interview, we learn more about them. What is it that you need? What are the obstacles? What are the challenges that you have legally and society? And so then we make a plan. We put together, we call a needs assessment.
Mhm.
And that says, what is it that you need based on, we look at their driving history, the legal charges against them. And so then we set a plan. So if they need some legal help, we have a partner that we work with, a nonprofit called Drive to Work. And they have lawyers and they can represent them in court. They give us advice on how to go through the various steps that the compliance summary says they have to do. So there's usually steps, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that finally ends up in taking the driving test. So we walk with them through that. We encourage them. Um, we 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 lay out the plan and we walk them through the execution of that plan. Um, and if they need transportation, we may pay for Uber for some time. If they have a car but they're just starting to work, we may pay for insurance. If they have a car and it's broke down, we pay for maintenance. And we involve them in this too. So it's not just giving. We say, are you working? Do you have resources? Can you pay some of this? And so we always encourage them to put some skin in the game. That way it's not just a handout, right?
Mhm.
So we ask them to participate and give some of their money, save up, and be ready that you can participate too. And then we try to come up with the rest of it. So we'll spend on average between $500 and $2,000 per client, depending on what all that they need to have done. And we stay with it. We this goes on for months and months because it's usually at least several weeks to get your license back, but usually it's months and maybe a year or more to go through all the steps that you have to, all the hurdles you have to overcome to get the license back and then get a car. So we stay with them. That's the other thing that's really, I think, outstanding about our program is it's not just, okay, here's some money, here's your, go get a license. We stay with them. We assign advocates to them who work with them one-on-one to encourage them and mentor them and help them get connected to the services they need. We have a table with all kinds of services in it and that they can choose from.
That is so good. Oh, wow. I, and it excites me because we know that that whole aftercare planning actually begins when someone either enters recovery or enters a treatment program. That's when the aftercare begin. And I think that's so important that you have those, you're stepping into that role of being an advocate, of being an accountability partner, of being a support network. So this is good. This is
It's important that they know somebody who cares, right? So they've been beat down, they've been taken advantage of, they've been lied to and cheated and told no and kept out. And so someone comes along and says, "What do you need? Just
Mhm.
what do you need?"
Mhm.
And so then we provide that need and we ask nothing in return. And
Mhm.
it's shocking to some people. And some people have difficulty with the internet, with computers. We buy people computers if
Mhm.
they need those. Um, but we help them with forms, filling out forms, and a lot of it's just encouragement. It can be very daunting. Somebody's looking at a compliance summary that's got 6 or 8, 10 things on it they have to do. It can be very daunting. So they need somebody to walk along with them and just keep tabs on them, keep contact with them,
Mhm.
and then they can refer things to us if the advocate can't handle it.
Absolutely. This is so good. So we are talking with Mr. Tom Walker, and he is the founder of the Dignity of Work Foundation. And we are so excited that he is sharing some vital information with us on the work that he began, that he the needs that he has seen, and the accomplishments, the lives that have been changed because of that. And so this is really good. We're going to take a brief pause. I know many of you are ready to ask questions or give comments, but we're going to take a brief pause and then come back and wrap up with Tom on some other things as far as what's upcoming. Okay. All right. So this has been a great conversation. Um, I'm aware that many of you have asked, okay, so what else is going on with JacLovelle Coaching and Consulting Group? You know, I I guess before I continue to say something about JacLovelle, it's important for you to reach out to me and go to the website. Yeah, I think that's something we usually talk about, but I haven't mentioned it in a while. And I'm going to put that information up so you can get to the to my website. But I want you to know that my heart is about helping others and helping persons move beyond whatever their experiences are, rediscovering purpose, reigniting, walking into that identity, walking boldly into whatever that next chapter is. Okay. And so that's why I created actually a program called Authentic Living. And it's a 6 months transformation program. And it's designed to help you to rebuild with greater meaning and fully embrace your calling. Living, authentic living. So if you've been feeling stuck or searching for clarity, you know that this might be something you might want to connect with. Now, I'm still taking persons for matters of the heart grief recovery program. I do it in a group or individually. And I've recognized that some of you saying, you know, individual is good for me. I can do it virtually, individually, and that's fine. I'm looking forward to having having you to reach out to me so we can have that conversation. And then also, I have a special webinar that will be coming up in the very near future entitled Walking Boldly into Your Purpose. Walking Boldly into Your Purpose. So I just wanted to share a few things with you. Some of you have even asked, how can I be a part of being on the porch with Dr. Jacqui? And so, you know, that can happen. That can happen. You just reach out to me. As I said, my website is JacLovelle.com. I'm going to put that up there so you can see it. And you reach out to me, let me know what your interest might be, what it is that you might want to share, but also let me know how I can be possibly a support to you and the work that you're doing, what you're doing out in the community. Okay, I just wanted to share those things. So let's go back to Mr. Tom Walker.
Hi.
All right. So Tom, you know, you have talked about so much on tonight, and I'm excited about the work that you're doing. But for someone who's listening or who might be curious about getting involved, you know,
Mhm.
volunteers, supporters, you know, talk some about that.
Well, we always have a place for volunteers. One of the places that we would love to get more volunteers in is being advocates, working one-on-one with our clients to help them get connected to the services that they need. Again, we have a whole list of the services, what they do, how to contact them, and so forth. And you get training. We train you on how to do that, how to navigate through our website. Um, and it's very fulfilling for somebody to help somebody else that can't pay them back. So yeah, we definitely would like volunteers to be advocates. We could use volunteers to work on the website, update the website, or make suggestions for website changes. We could use volunteers to do intake interviews, social media, help with the social media, things like that. The other thing we would love is small donors, people who would be willing to do 10, 15, $20 a month. We have about 35 donors now who regular. We'd like to get that up to 50 or 60. So, you know, some of these programs, the heart program, the diabetes program, the cancer program, those national things, they're great and they're needed. But when you send $20 to the American Heart Association, where does it go and what does it do? Who is it really helping? How is it helping? With the dignity of work, donations go to the clients. You know it's having an impact directly on somebody's life and helping them overcome the obstacles they have, helping them start their life again, rebuild their self-worth and their self-dignity. So small donors, we would love to have that. And it really makes a difference. A lot of small donations adds up to a lot of money that we can help. And again, it's $500 to a couple $1,000 it takes per client. So that's some I would like to have somebody that just focused on grants, focused on finding grant makers, big grant makers, $5,000, $10,000. So if you've got some expertise there or you have connections there, that would also be something very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great. And as you said, I think that the key there is it can be very fulfilling. As far as just being able to give back to the community, give back to society. Uh, Providing not just a hand out, but a hand up, and helping persons to propel into their next chapter and to their new season. And that's exciting. That's exciting.
Well, they send us pictures, they send us videos, their cars, their driver's license, and big smiles and gratitude. And it really warms your heart to see. It's a significant impact for somebody who's never had a driver's license. They're 30, 40, 50 years old, never had a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Get that, or, it's amazing the difference it makes emotionally and physically in their life. And they know that somebody cares about them, and that's
Right.
important.
That is so true. Knowing that someone cares. When and it's interesting you say that. As we wrap up, one of the many things that was spoken to me when I was young in my career, and one of my first positions was working with persons in a substance abuse therapeutic community in Roanoke, Virginia, and it was called Hajira House, New Beginnings, going from a difficult place to a new place. But what was spoken to me by new peers and supervisors was always remember that regardless of all of those alphabets you might have, associated to your name, people want to know that you care. You know, People
Mhm.
want to know that you care. And so that has stuck with me. That was about 30, 40, 35 years ago or so. And that has really made a difference in how I have been able to touch lives. And I'm sure that that's true for you too, because as you talk about, recognizing that the needs, doing the needs assessments and recognizing the needs of men and women, and how you can provide the support that's so greatly needed. And I just want to say thank you for what you do and how you present it, and ensuring that that there are people that might not have had second chances or opportunities, but there are persons like you and foundations like yours that's out there.
Thank you, thank you. We take people who are dedicated to being clean and sober. So we
Mhm.
require them to be clean and sober at least 6 months to go through a residential recovery program, and that's why our success rate is so high. We have at any one time over 90% of our clients are working, over 90%, and we have less than 10% recidivism rate, relapse rate, and that's really what we're after. They've proven
Mhm.
that they can be clean and sober for at least 6 months, but how do you make that a year, 2, 3 years? So recidivism is the thing we're really fighting against to keep them out of the drug and alcohol abuse.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. I just appreciate you taking the time to be with us on the porch, and thank you so much for sharing your hard work. And if persons want to contact you or want to know more about the Dignity of Work Foundation, this is the website. Is there anything else that they might need to know when they reach out to you or reach out to the website?
Well, our email address is thedignityofwork@gmail.com. So
Okay.
please send me an email, thedignityofwork@gmail.com. The website also has a contact us page where they can fill that out and send that, and we'll get that.
Excellent. All right. All right. Well, now if you have any
Well, thank
comments
you
or
so much
further
for having me,
questions,
Dr. Jacqui. I really enjoyed it. I
yes,
appreciate this forum to explain.
absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again, and you take care. Thanks for being here with us. All right. All right. And so there you have it, the Dignity of Work Foundation. I'm so glad that you've been a part of the conversation today. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and hearing about what's going on with you. As I've said, reach out to me at JacLovelle.com. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.